Hey guys, in this video today we're going to look at a new feature from Flogo Enterprise 2.5, and this is a base or generic binary, and essentially you use that to build your different applications. And if it doesn't really make sense from what I just said, let me give you an example. So let's say you're building a Docker image. The idea with the Docker image is that you have a base OS and then you build your application on top. So this is the same idea where you have your base binary and you have your application sitting on top. So let me just go through that, show you an example, and probably become a little bit more clear by the end of this video. So you have your application here. I'm not going to go through to how to actually build this itself, but it's just the Bookstore app that I've been showing in the past few videos. So if I go back, so traditionally in previous versions of Flogo Enterprise, if you actually wanted to build the binary from the web UI, the way you do it is just click build and then choose what type of operating system that you're using for this binary, and it will build that binary out for you. Or you can use the Flogo CLI to actually build the binary from that location as well. The change in 2.5 is that you don't have to build the binary for each individual application. You can just build a base or generic binary and then actually just take the JSON file of the app itself and use that to deploy the app. So instead of actually building it traditionally from the web UI, what I'm going to do is export this app, and I'm going to have my folder where I'm going to have this. I'm going to save it. Done. And if I go to my terminal, let's see, clear this, you'll see that that JSON file is right there. So we have that JSON file. This is our actual application itself. So in order to run this JSON file, what we need is to build our base or generic binary. So to do that is you go to the bin folder of your Flogo installation, so your 2.5 installation, and in here you should have your builder binary or executables that you can use whatever operating system you're using. And the way to actually build out this base binary is to run the builder, depending on what your OS is, build, and then specifying your output location. So I'm going to specify that users downloads Flogo Enterprise 2.5 sample. And what this will do is that this will generate the generic or base binary within this folder itself. And so if you notice when it's actually building this out, it says no Flogo application JSON file specified, Flogo base engine binary will be built without embedded Flogo application JSON. So traditionally in previous versions of Flogo Enterprise, anytime that you would build an application, that binary that was generated would be for that specific application. But in this case, we are building a binary that isn't specified towards a specific application. It can be used by multiple different applications. So let's see how that works. So if I go back to this folder, you'll see that the binary is now there. So there's a few ways to do this. I'm going to show you the first way. So you just run the binary. You can specify within your CLI app and then specify the JSON name. And essentially what this is going to do is that it's going to take that base binary with a lot of dependencies already installed and such like that, and it's going to use that to run this application that we've specified within this JSON file. So if I allow that, so you see that the application has started running, and let me go here in localhost 92. Let me just test that out. So you see that this is our application is running on localhost 9233, books, and the ISBN number. We get a return message from this call, and if you notice into the logs, you'll see that the flow has been completed successfully. And so this was done without actually having to generate a binary file for the specific application. So if I exit out of this, you'll notice that within the folder there is no secondary binary file that was generated for that. We still just have the base binary and we just have the application JSON. So now let's say I want to build this in like a Docker container, or I want to deploy this in a different location where I can't specify the app flag that we had previously. So app and then sample bookstore. So the way that this works is if you can't specify like a specific name, what you'd want to do is change the JSON name into flogo.json. So if you change that into flogo.json, what will happen is that when you run the generic binary, it will look within the folder for a file called flogo.json, and if it finds it, then it would actually use that to build the application itself. So if I do, let's say, move sample bookstore flogo.json. So now I've basically just changed the name to flogo.json, and if I just do that, I'm not specifying now what the app name is, I should still get the exact same thing. So notice that you see that the app is running. Hit allow, and then let me refresh this, and you'll see that it has been completed successfully. So if, let's say, you're building something in a Docker image or a Docker file, whatever like that, you won't be able to specify that app environment variable. So what you want to do is that you change whatever app that you want to use the JSON name to flogo.json, and then the actual generic binary will pick it up itself. So that's pretty neat. It's pretty cool. It gives you flexibility on where you can deploy this if you're not able to actually set that flag. And then one last thing. So let's say if I remove this and we just run the binary by itself, it's going to give you an error saying that there's no file directly flogo.json. So if you don't actually have the specific flogo.json file, or you don't specify the JSON name with the app flag, then it's just going to give you an error. So you know that it's just a generic binary, just generic base binary, where it's not actual app itself, it's just something that holds dependencies, and then your app information is within the JSON file. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. There'll be another video where we'll go a little bit more in depth with this, how to go through the full life cycle using this. But this is just a very short getting started video on this new feature. So hopefully it was helpful. Thanks.